Hello everyone, welcome to this live stream, and today I'll be talking about imposter syndrome and how to overcome it, how to notice it's there. I do sort of this topic pretty much every year, I think, but obviously every year I'm growing, and whatever I bring in terms of studying and my own personal growth, I'll be sharing that with you as well on this live stream. So basically, imposter syndrome, I didn't even know it was called a term until, very recently, or maybe halfway through my entrepreneur journey. Is basically when you are feeling somewhat like a fraud, somewhat not good enough. Okay, that's what it is basically. You feel like you're not being your true self, right? And then that ends up causing other problems like, I don't know, procrastination, just not showing up to be the person and in that profession you need to be. Okay, now I want to just start with taking you through those things. Now you need a huge amount of self-awareness to even know you've got this happening, and actually no, you don't need a lot of self-awareness for this, but you do need to have lots of self-awareness to know what's triggered it. So you've got to be constantly checking in with yourself. Now I've been doing that for a long time, okay, so I know whenever I feel this, not good enough, somewhat like a fraud, this imposter syndrome that people have called it. I don't know where it's come from, but it's a recognised term now, so that's why I'm using that term. It happens when I'm not doing something that is outside of my alignment, outside of my core values, right? I don't even know what I was saying there because I would look at the comments, so I may not make sense there, but so this is why I'm not going to look at the comments straight away. I will come back to the comments towards the end. Yeah. Okay, yeah, same like me then, Ashila. So you feel incongruent, so you do need a lot of self-awareness to even figure out why this is happening. So I had this happen to me very recently, and it didn't last very long because, like I said, I quickly get it into I figure out what's going on and what am I not doing that I'm supposed to be doing, and that's triggering this not good enough feeling. Okay, now I'm at a point where I get lots of personal coaching, I have a mentor, I do work on myself consistently, so I'm able to pick this up and work through it. Okay, now years ago, maybe back in 2014, I had this going on, but I didn't know what it was, I didn't know where it come from. So if you're at that place where I was maybe 6 years ago, then I'm going to share with you what you can do to overcome this, right? By just coaching yourself a little bit. So ultimately, like I said, it comes down to when you're not living in your highest values. So you're doing something, you're either pushing yourself too much, neglecting something else that you're supposed to be looking into and maybe slowing down, or you're just not doing what you're supposed to do to feel completely congruent. Quite congruency is what we need to feel. We need to feel authentic. That's our human need. We need to feel authentic, and our unconscious mind tells us that. It whispers to us, and if we don't listen to it, it ends up evolving into this, oh, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. That keeps coming up in different ways, different shapes and forms. You're not good enough. That ultimately, that's what comes up. So now, knowing that, okay, you're not good enough, imposter syndrome, it's actually a good thing, right? It's actually your mind telling you you need to do something here. You either need to get level up in your skills, or you need to level up in your unconscious mind or subconscious mind programming. You've got to make a change, because just imagine if we did not have that filter, if we did not have that inner voice saying you're not good enough, we won't grow, we won't take action. It's only a problem when we don't take action, right? And we're stuck in that place, letting it be, right? So we need to know that. We need to know, it's good that we have that, shall I say, signal to tell us that we need to do something about this, yeah? Otherwise, like, I would not be growing. I know nobody would, because we've got nowhere to tell us what to do next, right? But just be aware, what is it? Now, as soon as you get that feeling, okay, I'm not feeling congruent, I'm not feeling that I'm good enough in my job, in my business, in whatever, as a mother, as a wife, as a whatever, a daughter, it could be anything, okay? Imposter syndrome can go anywhere with this, yeah? Figure out what is going on, what are you doing, right? Which part of you are you neglecting to do something else? Okay, now let me give you an example. There was time when I was having, had some personal growth as coaches. When we have a cold or a flu or cold sores, it comes to like personal growth is coming. Like there's a breakthrough happening, whether you're doing something new, you get uncomfortable, and the body's reacting to that new level of discomfort. What I was doing was, at that time when I should have rested for a week, I was still trying to push through my business, still take calls. What I should have done at this time was just to took no calls that week, okay, and just rested that full week, and still worked on my personal and spiritual growth and professional. I could do some trainings here and there during that week off. However, coaching calls do take a lot of energy. That's what I should have done. You probably hear the kids playing outside, so I mean that's how it's going to have to be. That's what I should have done, because if I kept on going and showing up on these coaching calls, which I did, kept on showing up in these coaching calls, serving my clients, I didn't feel like I was doing the best in performance that I should have or could have, although clients were still happy. I mean, I'm really grateful for clients who are, I mean, when I'm on the coaching call, I'm just my best, right? I show up, but I know deep down I could do better. We always have that in our growth, saying, hey, you could do better than this. So that's what I should have done, just rested, and that's when also imposter syndrome comes up. When you're neglecting your health, when you're neglecting your spiritual growth, when you're neglecting your mindset growth there, that's when it also comes up, and that's most of the time when it comes up. For entrepreneurs, a lot of the times, especially coaches, because I do work with coaches as well, the only time we feel like an imposter syndrome is coming on, we feel like a fraud, is when we are neglecting our own personal growth. When we feel, oh my gosh, I feel like this today, how am I going to help other people? Right? And we've probably neglected our meditation, our gratitude journaling, we've probably neglected exercising for so long that it's the toll's coming up now. It's like it feels very heavy now. How are we going to get this out? Right? How am I going to help other people if I can't help myself? So usually that's when it happens. So what are you doing? Which part of your health, because you're a soul, you're a body, and you've got a mind. Which part of you have you neglected that you need to check in with? So, the same situation happened again when I wasn't feeling very well physically. I was going through a growth spurt, personal growth, cold happened, and I took that week off. Did not feel like imposter or fraud. I worked on my spiritual growth. I actually felt really aligned, completely aligned, because I took the advice that I would give my clients, right? When you feel like your body, is going through a cold or a flu. This was the first week of lockdown in UK, last week of March of this year. That happened. I took a week off, and I felt emotionally, I mean physically I was, in pain, but emotionally and spiritually I felt the highest. There was no imposter syndrome, and that's when it feels congruent. And imposter syndrome doesn't happen because of your action, how much action you take. It's what action you take and with what intention you're taking. So again, that does take a lot of self-awareness, which if you keep on checking in, it will grow. It definitely grows. So again, are you doing your DMO? Are you doing, if you're an entrepreneur, are you doing your DMO? I remember last time, because I took note of this, every time I had imposter syndrome come up, what was I doing? And another time it come up was when I wasn't doing my training. Like, I have a strict plan, a DMO, that I know will, if I follow this plan every single day, my business will always grow, right? And there was one element of that DMO, that plan, profit plan I call it as well, what I wasn't doing, right? Which was training. I've got to do some NLP, mindset, some sort of marketing, no, not marketing, that's separate, but NLP training. I've got to do that every day. Doesn't matter how pro I get, I still have to do it, because that's what you master as a coach. The more we do the basics and revisit the basics and redo the basics and just completely know them back to front by heart, that's when we become a pro. So I think it was about a week and a half had gone, and I was missing that training, that 30 minutes of training. Minimal is 20 minutes, right? and I was missing that, and I was like going straight into mindset, you know, the train of marketing and prospecting and all these other tasks, but I was missing that element. Okay, and then again I felt like a fraud. So it's going to be different for everybody. This was just my own experience. This is what I said I would be doing. That was my intention. So, you know, you've got to follow your words. You've got to follow through what you say, right? And what feels right as well. Because that gives you that confidence. When you're following, when you do what you say, I mean, that is the biggest confidence, right, we get of ourselves. When we do what we say. When we make the intention. Okay? So anytime you don't do what you say you do, that will kick in. That syndrome will kick in. So I shared two of my own experiences in different contexts. One was more of a business one, that I was neglecting that training, that NLP training, and the other one was when what I really needed to do was just rest that week and heal my body properly, and then get back to the coaching calls, where I could still, you know, be that mum I want to be the still study, be that coach that I always say I need to do in terms of the advice I give to clients. Congruency. And another thing I wanted to say was, if you're a coach, for example, or somebody that is in business, another thing you need to do to avoid having imposter syndrome and feel confident in yourself overall is be the client, be the customer yourself. Okay? Now, I see a lot of people, I've had a huge amount of friends requests in the last few weeks, and I've had people quickly pitch me, or do you want to join my business? And then I come back to them and say, have you got customers yet? Like, you know, you want 2 people in your team, in your MLM team, have you got customers yet? You know, some people said yes, some people said no, I don't have customers, I don't like customers, I don't like having those customers, I don't like retailing. But then I'm like, well, why are you building a team then? Right? You need to first have a retail base. This is MLM. You've got to have a retail base first. You've got to become the customer first. Buying at the retail price. Right? And then you can feel like, hey, I've done that. I bought that item, that product at retail price. Now I can sell that at retail price. You've got that confidence. You've got that congruency already. Right? One of the things that a lot of people do is, hey, say, okay, I want to just join the company and become a rep. I want to have that product at a discount because I don't want to buy the full price. And then they expect to have other people to buy at that retail price that they haven't bought themselves, and they struggle to sell it at the retail price. A lot of people would end up selling the products at the wholesale price that they got themselves. So have that, you know, be congruent. Again, it comes back to congruency. If you want to sell something, make sure you've bought it yourself before. If you're a coach, for example, make sure you've been a client beforehand. Okay, one of my clients that was here earlier, she said, Naz, I'm going to double my coaching packages, the price of the coaching packages. I need to have the confidence to do that, right? I need to have the confidence to double my coaching packages. So, you know, whatever that is, doubling it, I want the confidence. Okay, that's what we're going to work on now. In our next session, we're going to work on the confidence she's going to get. She's going to have to be able to sell that coaching package. I mean, obviously, I don't know what she needs yet. I only plan her session. But it's going to be about, okay, have you bought this at that price yet? Would you buy this at this price? Would you buy the outcome? Yes, we're going to go through that. So we're going to work at the surface issues first, and then find the deeper problems, what's going on, that will help her release the deeper problems and get to that level where she needs to be to sell her coaching packages double the price, right? And obviously niche in her market as well. So we're doing the surface stuff that we need to do, and also we're doing the inner things as well that we need to do to keep her feeling congruent and confident in her product or coaching package. So that's what we need to do. I'm just checking my scarf, it's fallen, pieces are falling off it. So overcoming it, just check in with yourself. I think I've said this like 5 times already. What's going on? What have you neglected in the last few days or weeks? What do you need to do? Okay, do you need to get a new skill that you haven't got yet to take your business or yourself to the next level? What is going on? Okay, another actually example that I was getting very recently was that I need to learn NLP skills, right? Because currently I'm at a level which is a practitioner level, and I need to get to master practitioner. And I'm like 3 weeks away from my training, but it's like that urge to just do it now, right? So I can grow more and I'll feel even more competent, because although I'm very competent right now at what I do, I need to grow. As a human, we all need to grow. So always invest in your skills and invest in your personal growth as well. Those two areas always need to happen when it comes to business and in other areas as well in your life, obviously in different contexts. But if I haven't covered it, you can always reach out to me and I will cover this with yourself in my inbox. And if you find this useful, definitely share it. Let me know if there's any questions. Like I said, any areas that I haven't covered, I will come back and answer them.